Hello, hello, hello. It is me, your True Hill Phenom, SP3, and I'm back and better than ever on the True Hill Heat Sports YouTube channel, and we're back talking about a little bit of basketball, NBA to be exact. I am here with my esteemed colleague, two-time baby making champion, marijuana enthusiast himself, along with Mary Jane. It's Chris G.
Always. What's going on, good brother? It's been a while.
It has been a while. It's been a while. We did our NBA first NBA podcast, I believe, back in July, if I'm not mistaken. So a lot has gone down in the world of basketball since then. You got big trades going down, a little bit of shakeups in the East and the West. So we're gonna talk about all of that, and we want to hear from all of you. This is an interactive YouTube channel, so let us know in the live chat what you've been thinking about all the moves and shaking during the NBA offseason. We are here to discuss it. Of course, if you see the title, we're definitely going to discuss Donovan Mitchell being traded to the Cavs and get Chris G's response as a Knicks fan. That's going to be money. We're also going to be talking about my Los Angeles Lakers and their
You can
three-point
say it.
guard
You can
lineup.
say it.
Three-point guard lineup. We're also going to talk about NBA, CBA news with the age lowering for draftees. So a lot to discuss on this NBA podcast. We want to hear from all of you. We'll highlight as many of your comments as possible. And we appreciate everyone who's joining us live here, whether on the True Hill Heat Sports YouTube channel, True Hill Heat Twitch channel, or Twitter. Remember to show your appreciation back. If you're watching us on YouTube, drop the thumbs up on this video. Share this video with all your wrestling fans, friends, and family on all your favorite social media platforms. If you are new to the True Hill Heat YouTube channel, True Hill Heat Sports YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell to stay notified for all the great content here. We've been smashing it with our NFL watch-alongs. I saw Chris G joining the crew over there, so definitely come aboard as we move in on 200 subscribers here on the True Hill Heat Sports YouTube channel. But Chris, we're going to talk about some NBA. Let's highlight a couple of comments here. We got ALW, the main man, Alan Weinstein, joining us, saying, glad it's football season as I love football, but it's nice to talk other sports too. Basketball is my favorite sport. He says, SP3 and Chris motherfucking G. What's up, fellas? What's going on, good sir? We also got the Stat King John Martin saying THH basketball, let's go. Yes, it's been back. We're back. We're better than ever. Yeah. And no, we're not firing Rob Pelinka. He's doing the best he can with a shitty situation. Um, Let's talk about the first thing first. First things first, the big trade of this offseason. We thought the big trade of the offseason would be involving the Brooklyn Nets the last time we did a podcast on basketball here, Chris G. But instead, we talked a little bit last time we discussed things about the Timberwolves and Utah Jazz trade, and this being a sign that Utah Jazz was ready to blow it up, and that Donovan Mitchell was the next domino to fall in this Utah Jazz rebuild. And of course, as a Knicks fans and as being in New York as I am, I know the Knicks fans were going crazy saying it's gonna happen. Donovan Mitchell's going to the Knicks, but instead we had a shocker. We had a little bit of a surprise, a little bit of a shakeup, if you will, with that trade. As out of nowhere, September 1st, 2022, Donovan Mitchell of the Utah Trash is traded to the Cleveland Cavaliers, who sent Jazz forward Lauri Markkanen, rookie wing Oneko Baji, guard Colin Sexton, three unprotected first round picks from 2025, 2027, and 2029, and two pick swaps for 2026 and 2028. So they traded three players, three unprotected picks, two pick swaps for Donovan Mitchell. First, I got to get your response. As a Knicks fan, Chris G, what was your reaction to this trade? You're muted again, sir.
Oh shit. Always. That's the beauty of having a mute button. You don't know if you're muted or not. I I'm not like most Knicks fans because I've seen a lot of Knicks fans kind of take this personal and be super upset that they didn't get Donovan Mitchell. And I've also seen other Knicks fans just like kind of dismiss it and say, "Yeah, we don't need him anyway." Let's be real about the situation. Any team in the league could use a player like Donovan Mitchell. It's very rare you get a 25-year-old proven all-star guard who can score, put the ball in the basket, has to improve in a couple other aspects in their game, but they're a bona fide superstar, right? That being said, I did not want to give up the house for Donovan Mitchell. And that includes not giving up RJ Barrett, which, in my opinion, I don't know what the best offer from the Knicks to the Jazz was, but in my opinion, the best offer that they did, that they made him, that they made the Jazz, and it was a better offer than what the Cavs gave up. I believe, in my opinion, it was RJ Barrett, Emmanuel Quickly, and Obi Toppin. 3 first-round picks, 2 swaps. Same deal. I feel like that was the same deal on the table. And for whatever reason, the Jazz was like, no, we don't got no Quentin Grimes in here. We're going to see what else we can do. And in turn, they got Colin Sexton. Okay. Lori Markkinen. Oh. So where the logic on the Jazz was, it was more for the pick swaps, I guess. But it's just when it comes to these picks, they're going to be mid to late round first picks anyway, especially with the Cavs. Because now you're talking about the Cavs have an actual solid team all around if they stay healthy. So you're looking at a picks 20 and above anyway. So the draft picks, it baffles me why the Knicks didn't get this trade done, but I'm not mad that they didn't get it done because I didn't want to give up. I really didn't want to give up RJ Barrett, to be honest. But I didn't want to give up 4 or 5 players either. I didn't want this to turn into a Carmelo Anthony trade 2.0 where, you get a great Hall of Fame caliber player in return, but then you also give up most of your supporting cast, and it's more of a negative than a positive. So I'm indifferent about it. I would have loved Donovan Mitchell to be a New York Knick. I like Donovan Mitchell since he's been drafted. His dad used to play for the Mets. It just kind of all fits together. But unfortunately, it didn't happen, and I'm not mad at it. We still got a solid squad. I still think we can compete in the East.
I agreed with almost everything you said up until that last part.
Yeah.
I don't see y'all. I don't see
Well,
y'all
not
doing.
elite. I don't. We're not elite. We're not a top tier East team. But I do think we can play hard. We could get into those playoff spots. But we'll see.
Yeah, I think that in the East, y'all will be a play-in contender. I don't think y'all will be an established playoff team or even a playoff contender. I think y'all be a play-in contender, battling for the eighth, ninth, 10th spot in the East. So not to be you can't be too disappointed. I don't know if y'all had the best offer to the Jazz, but y'all had an equivalent offer to this trade. I just don't think how many first round picks were y'all trying to trade them?
I think they only wanted to give up 2 unprotected and 2 pick swaps, which
That's
that
the
extra
thing.
pick I guess counts because you could do it has to be every other year. So
Yeah,
I'm guessing the one pick that they didn't want to give up was the 2023 pick because that's like supposed to be the most loaded draft, especially after,
yeah,
the news that we will touch on later concerning the age limit of the NBA. So
that's
2023
true.
draft is the draft that like everybody's looking at. Either that or 2025 because of Bronny, but like we're not even going to get into that.
Eh,
We'll wait a
eh,
couple we'll wait a couple years
eh.
before we talk about Bronny James. But
Exactly. Bronny
yeah,
James. I don't know. I don't know. I
it's
gotta
more the
see him. I gotta
prospect.
see him play some ball outside of college.
Well, it's not the prospect of getting Bronny James, it's the prospect of getting LeBron with Bronny James. So that's why
That
that
is
pick is
true.
so
That yeah.
that's why the pick is so intriguing. But that 2023 pick is like what's most coveted because it's supposed to be a really deep draft. And I don't think the Knicks were willing to give that up unprotected. So kudos to them because you never know what's gonna happen in the next 2 years. You might lose guys, you might lose talent on your team, you might not achieve to the level that you want to, and that unprotected pick could be a top 10 pick in a very loaded draft. So I'm
Yeah.
not mad at them.
Yeah, you got Wembanyama, you got the Thompson twins. There's a couple of really good players that I'm already a pivy to. Like I know DJ Wagner is in that draft as well. So yeah, they got a lot of really good players in this draft. So I can kind of understand where the Knicks is coming from and wanting to hold off. And Donovan Mitchell is not one of those one tier, two tier superstars, in my opinion. I think that he's a solid three-tier guy. He will be a great second guy on a championship contending team, but I don't see him being the guy that you want to sell the house for, especially if you are the New York Knicks and you're trying to build towards, I guess, the next 5 years. For once in the Knicks lifetime, they're thinking
Yeah,
about the
they
future
actually
here.
have a 5-year plan, which is weird. But it's also it's also the potential of Donovan Mitchell, right? Because you're not really just getting the player right now. You're also getting the player that he could become. He's a guy that's 25 years old. He's not even near his physical prime. You pretty much
Well,
know where you're getting with him.
26 now. He's
Well, I
26
mean,
now.
he's
26 going.
he,
He's 26 going on 27. So,
I mean,
I,
but that's still young in terms of basketball years when you got a guy that could put up 25 a game easy.
yeah,
And
he's in his
has the
prime years
skills.
for sure.
He has the skills to develop the rest of his game too. When it comes to seeing the floor a little better, being a little bit more active on defense is just getting him engaged.
Yeah, he just has to figure other stuff out, especially on the defensive end of the ball. As far as like what this trade means, because we talked about the Knicks enough. What this trade means for the two teams that were involved in the trade. As far as the Jazz, I think that this is a great move for them, and I almost like this trade as much as the Timberwolves trade. I think that the Timberwolves trade, you sold a 1978 car for the same price as a Primus. Basically, if you got if you traded
You traded in a
Rudy
Saab for a Tesla
you
for a
trade Rudy
station wagon.
Gobert and you got fucking five first round picks, four players like that. That was the you definitely you won that one. You won that trade. This trade is a little bit more balanced. I feel like the reason why the difference for the Cavs here, because I know the initial talks that I heard for the Cavs, they were only trying to trade Laurie Marketing. I know they were trying to trade the rookie Obaji, but they were trying to trade a couple of more like younger players, maybe one of their forwards, and then three unprotected first round picks. And the pick swaps. The big difference from what I've been hearing is them throwing in Colin Sexton, because that immediately gives the Utah Jazz a young player that they can build. They have a centerpiece to make this rebuild work. They have Colin Sexton, who will be a great, I think he would be a great number two, number three on a playoff team. But you have him, and now you just have to, I don't think they're gonna keep Laurie Marketing long term. I think he's gonna be a part of the trade, maybe even this season that he's come to the Utah Jazz. I think that I could see them trading him away, and they are really creating their own type of like uh, I want to say Oklahoma City 2.0 type of rebuild where they're stocking up on draft picks. They have young players that they can build around in the future. I think this was a key part of what they're doing with their rebuild right now.
Well, Colin Sexton makes sense, right? That's obviously the centerpiece, like in terms of players. They gave him the contract extension. He's gonna be there 4 or 5 years now. He's gonna be the guy. The most intriguing part of this trade probably is Laurie Markkinen for the fact that he's still kind of young. He's under contract for another 2 years, I think, and his salary is not like super crazy, so it's a tradable contract. So they have options. Do you want to keep Laurie and try to build a little bit and use him as a piece, or do you want to ship him off with Bojan Bogdanovic just to get rid of that dead money and just bring back more assets? So they can go either way with marketing. I'm not a marketing fan. I think he gets hurt too much. I think when he's on the floor, he's not that bad. He played good for the Cavs this year, considering he really was like the third, fourth big man option, between Jared Allen, Evan Mobley, who obviously had a phenomenal rookie season. And I mean, you still got Kevin Love as the veteran guy on that team that's going to want to put up some shots. So Markin kind of find himself as the odd man out and still had a decent season when he was healthy. So it's like, I feel like even though Sexton and the picks, of course, were like the focal point, marketing might be the most interesting part of that trade. The rookie, you that's the jury's up in the air on that, so you can't really determine the value of that until he plays another 2 or 3 years, obviously. But I mean, I like what the Jazz did. They did the smart thing, and I like what the Cavs did. They got a superstar to add to their young core of guys that are either borderline superstars or have superstar potential. I wouldn't call
Dude,
Jared Allen a superstar by any stretch of imagination, but the
no.
fact is the guy puts up a fucking double double every game. He's super efficient and he's a defensive force to reckon with. You know, and you got three other guys. Now you got two other guys in Darius Garland, who is an all star, who's young, who can move the ball, who will work good with Donovan Mitchell, in my opinion, because they don't really take up the same spots. They don't really they have good games that contrast each other. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
I believe they fit very well together. And then you got Evan Mobley, who's the glue guy and can do a little bit of everything. So it's just a
yeah.
good fit.
I
They didn't
think
give up too much either. So I think it's just a perfect trade for both teams.
I think that the Cavs is the big winner in all of this for sure. That's why I saved them for last year, because this really gives them probably the best young starting five in the NBA, especially in the Eastern Conference. I think Donovan Mitchell, depending on how long it takes him to develop chemistry and develop a rhythm on the court, Donovan Mitchell could be the key to making the Cavs a certified top five team in the East for not just next year, for the next 3 to 5 years, because you got a backcourt that can pretty much compete with anybody else in the East. Donovan Mitchell is a born scorer. Garland is a playmaker. Plus, he can score. He could put up 20 points per game, as well as like 8 to 9 to 10 assists. And that's the type of point guard that Mitchell probably always has tried to work with. Like, they've put him with Ricky Rubio and Michael Conley, who are great playmakers. But now he has someone in Darius Garland that can also put the ball in the hole. And I don't think he ever had that in Utah. So I think that their chemistry and their development together as a backcourt is going to be really the key between them being either like, maybe I could see them finishing as high as like the second seed in the East, and maybe as low as where they were at last year as an 8th seed in the East. It really depends on how long this team takes to develop. And like you said, their front court is really established, because Jared Allen, I think he is an all-star. He was an all he pretty much should have been an all-star this past season, because he was the defensive X factor for the Cleveland Cavaliers while they played so well in the first half of the season. They had a drop off in the second half of the season, and that was only due to injuries. And I think Evan Mobley, if they had continued on the path that they were on in the first half of the season, Evan Mobley would be the 2022 Rookie of the Year. Honestly, that's what it really came down to between him and Barnes. It was who finished higher in the East, and the Raptors did, and that's why Scotty Barnes won Rookie of the Year. If not, Evan Mobley, I think, is going to be the star player for the Cleveland Cavaliers in like 5 to 6 years, because he's got the type of game that you can see how it's going to develop. He's going to become more of a scorer. Right now, he just has a great balance of he's very well and can guard anyone in the front court on defense, and he could definitely put the ball in the hole as far as like in the paint. On offense, he just has to develop like a more of his outside game. He has a pretty good mid-range jumper, but if he can stretch the floor a little bit more, I think that will make him the best player on the Cavs. I think the only thing they have to figure out as far as their starting five is if Okoro is the long-term three. If they want to go with him as their small forward and develop this starting five that's like 27 years old and younger, that can like lead them for the next 5 years, or if they want to go in another direction and maybe make some trades to free up some cap room and sign maybe a number one type of player, because I feel like right now all of their players are just great number twos at best. Like, I can see Garland being a great number two on a championship contender team. Same with Donovan Mitchell. Same with Evan Mobley for right now. Jared Allen, same thing. But if they want to like long term move forward, maybe they need to sign a big free agent at the small forward spot.
Well, I mean, this team kind of meshes so good together that if Okoro can be the guy that he kind of was last year, which is just a guy that's going to run around slash kind of cause chaos and just bang on the boards, play defense. I mean, you don't really need a three to do too much other than that in your starting lineup when you got guys like Garland, Mitchell, Evan Mobley, Jared Allen. I mean, between these guys, you're talking about a potential 70 points per game. That's not asking for a lot. You're talking about 20, 20, 15, and 10, which is totally attainable with all these guys. They can move the ball well enough where this can happen. And you got a guy in Okoro that he's young. He's going to play a lot of minutes. He can guard your wing, the wing on the other side. I think he's only going to get better on the defensive end. He can grab rebounds. He can cause chaos. You always need that guy. Do you want him in the starting lineup? I mean, it depends how they mesh. The first couple weeks of the season, you'll be able to see it. If it looks like
Yeah.
they need to make an upgrade at the three, then I still don't mind Okoro being on the team coming off the bench because I do think he brings a lot to the team. It's just like not reflected in the numbers, and he's a young
Yeah,
guy that's only going to get
and
better.
that's why I said I think they have to decide if they want him to be the long-term three, and they have a
Mhm.
bunch of different options as well. Because I forgot Karis LeVert is still on this team. Like I was like,
Yeah.
I'm looking at their roster right now. I'm like, oh shit, they still have Karis LeVert. So even if Okoro doesn't work out, they don't necessarily have to go to free agents immediately. They can try out LeVert. They got Chetty Osman too, but all of those pieces, because they're such a deep team, they do have pieces to make that one big trade that will really certify them as like a top 3 seed in the East. Because besides that starting five that I had, they still got Ricky Rubio, they still got Kevin Love. Man, like this team is deep. Like you could go probably like 10 deep because your starting five is gonna be Allen, Mobley, Mitchell, Garland, and Okoro. But then you got Kevin Love, Chetty Osman, Karis LeVert, Ricky Rubio, Robin Lopez, if he still has anything left in the tank, he's still on this team. Like this team is ridiculously deep. They might be the deepest team in the East.
They're up there. They're up there.
It's
Especially
between
with
them
the
and
guys.
Boston. I would say
Yeah,
them and Boston.
especially with the big guys though. Like Kevin Love still got value. He's still going to come out, grab rebounds, hit threes. Uh, Robin Lopez is going to give you what you get with Robin Lopez, right? He's going to grab rebounds. He's going to be intense. He's going to throw people around on defense. You need guys like that on your team if you want to succeed, especially when you got young guys. Because when you got the young guys on the team, sometimes they're a little reluctant to to show that grit physically to get into other people's faces, the other team's faces. So it's good that they have those veteran guys on the bench that'll have those young guys backs. So I think it's a good mix. I think they're a very good team. There's no reason why they shouldn't be a top 4 seed.
I agree with you there. And we'll definitely, our next basketball podcast is probably going to be the week or two, unless something big happens in the next week, then we'll do a surprise one. But definitely for sure, we're going to do one maybe the week or 2 weeks before the start of the season. So we could do our NBA preview and we can see where we have the Cavs by then. Maybe we see something in preseason that makes us say that they're definitely going to be a top 3 seed or something else that makes us say that they're not going to make the playoffs
Shit
at
ain't
all.
gonna
Even
work.
though I doubt that.
I
I
doubt
doubt
that.
that.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be a Russell Westbrook to the Lakers situation. And speaking of the Lakers, we will get to that in a bit. We got a couple of comments to highlight here. Alan Weinstein saying Cleveland could be nice with the addition of Mitchell. Mitchell and Mobley have a good young core. And like I said, there's a bunch of great young players on the Cavs right now that makes them a very interesting team to watch. I think them and the Pistons are the East teams I most want to see like the most from. I like the Pistons because of their young core as well.
They made a lot of good moves this draft. So and then Cade showed me a lot last year. I think they got potential. It's it's never a matter of like does Detroit have potential? It's always like can they actually keep these young players that they get? Or can they
For
not
once,
die? Or do they not die along the way? Like, get posterized and lose confidence in all life.
we got VCW Worldwide TV who says, "Man, you guys are killing the content game. We appreciate you, good brother, joining us. We appreciate Armand and Safet, all of you in the live chat joining us as we talk a little NBA. But we got our next topic to go to, and yes, Talking about my Los Angeles Lakers, who made a big trade this offseason. I guess big would be misleading. But yes, made a big trade, Chris, where we traded for Patrick Beverly from the Minnesota Timberwolves. I'll read off this trade after all these years where we didn't want to include Taylor Horton Tucker in all of these different trades. We could have traded Taylor Horton Tucker to get Buddy Hield last year. I remember that one.
Yeah,
That one really
anybody,
pissed.
everybody wanted Tucker.
Everybody wanted Tucker, and we waited till we got the biggest person we could get, and that's Patrick Beverly. This went down on Thursday, I believe, August 25th or something like that. But yes, we traded Taylor Horton Tucker and Stanley Johnson to the Utah Jazz in exchange for Patrick Beverly. And then we turn around last week and we sign Dennis Schroeder back. You remember Dennis Schroeder when the Lakers were so enthused with him during the first half of the season that we offered him a 4-year deal, and this dumbass declined it and then winded up signing a 1-year, $9 million deal to go to Boston. And then he's been hopping around from team to team ever since. That Dennis Schroeder, we just signed him.
He did have a good Euro League.
He wasn't even in the league. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? See, anywhere else I'll talk about sports, ladies and gentlemen, I will try my best to be positive about my Laker moves. But here on True Hill Heat Sports, you get the real me. I was so utterly confused. Outside of just logically speaking, Lakers is going to be a must-buy ticket regardless of where you go, because you want to go to the game where Russell Westbrook and Patrick Beverly start slapboxing each other. You want to be at that game. You want to be at that game. You just waiting for it to happen. There's going to be fans in the crowd at opposing teams' courts that's going to just trying to be egging it on, being like, oh, yo, Russ, yo, Pat just said you a piece of shit. Yo, Pat, Russ said that you can't ball. Like, they're going to be causing mischiefs just to see if these two men will start slap boxing. What did you think about the Pat Bev trade? What do you think about this potential 3-point guard lineup or Russell Westbrook, Patrick Beverly, and Dennis Schroeder?
I mean, I don't think so. The trade is weird, more on Minnesota's end, I think, just because I didn't see them getting rid of the kind of like the heart and soul of the team, right? I feel like besides Ant-Man, Pat Bev probably got like the most heart on that squad, and they traded him away. Now I understand you get Taylor Horton Tucker back, who's not bad, cheap, good player, good young, solid guy off the rotation. But the Lakers, man, just getting. I think these are good pickups, but it's going to be hard to intertwine them all together, which is why I don't think Russ is going to start. To be honest, I don't think Schroeder's going to start either, depending on who is their shooting guard. If they could sign somebody else, pull the trigger, maybe make another trade for somebody. Like, I don't know who's going to play that too going into the season as a starter, but I definitely don't see Russell Westbrook being the starting point guard. I think he's going to be their primary six man. They're going to try to play him with Bev at times, play him with Schroeder at times, but he's not going to play a lot with LeBron. I think he's going to play here and there with Anthony Davis. I think they're trying to get the usage out of Russell Westbrook the most they can. And the most you can get the usage out of Russell Westbrook is if you don't have him playing with any other stars. You have to have him as the main guy in the team, give him a couple shooters and maybe one guy that could bang out. So depending on how they fill their roster out, I mean, who knows how this combination of guys is going to look. I think it's going to be Pat Bev at the one, possibly Dennis Schroeder starting at the two. And I'm reading things saying internally, they don't even see Pat Bev as a starting point guard. They see him as a 3-and-D guy that could guard the wing. So he might come off the bench and just be interchangeable through the 1 through 3 positions. So I don't know.
He's gonna be our starting 3 because LeBron gonna be the point guard. I tell you who needs to start at the 2, Austin Reeves. Austin Reeves has been really good for us, so I think he should start at the 2. I would go with the starting lineup of Pat Bev, Austin Reeves, LeBron, Anthony Davis, and Thomas Bryant for now. If we could pull off this Indiana Pacers trade to get Miles
Miles
Turner
Turner.
and Buddy Hield, that's the best case scenario for the Lakers. If somehow they will take Russ and those 2 draft picks, which we are very hesitant, it seems, to let go of, I think that's the best case scenario for us because it opens up the flow of the game so much for us. Like we can actually have some outside shooting. Buddy Hield is an established 3-point shooter. Miles Turner can make the 3 and stretches the floor very well, and it gives AD room in the inside to operate on his own, and he can kick it out to Miles Turner for an open jump shot. So yeah, I think that's the best case scenario for us. As presently constructed, we look like an 8, 9, 10 seed at best.
I mean, can all their talent like actually play to how they're supposed to play? Because then they're arguably top 5 if they could get all their talent together. It's just I was always a Miles Turner fan. I always wanted him to be a Knick. But the reality is Rob Pelinka is never gonna let go of these draft picks. And why? Is because if you have a chance to draft Bronny James, you get to keep LeBron James on your team. And then the other one is the 2023 pick. They don't want to give up that either. Because if the
No,
Lakers are terrible,
we don't have those picks. We
they
traded
gave up
both
the
of those. Yeah, we
for
gave
Pat
those
Bev.
picks. No, we gave. I think 2024, the one with Bronny, was a part of the Westbrook fucking trade. So Washington has that one, but most of our draft picks go to New Orleans due to the AD trade. So literally, this is a 2027 trade or 2020 and a 2029 draft pick. So
Oh,
literally, we are talking about fucking people in elementary
I thought they
school
still
right
had
now.
the 2025 at least. Yeah, the
No,
elementary
we're
school.
talking about people in fucking middle school that they
Ugh,
are holding on to these draft picks for. I
I don't know.
understand not trying to mortgage your future, especially because LeBron, we don't know how long LeBron does have left. He has 3 years left on his deal, including this upcoming season. So you know that much. And I think what they're thinking right now and what a lot of the reports are saying is that the Lakers are going in with the mind state that they just have to sit on Russ for the year because he only has 1 year left on his deal.
Yeah.
You're gonna get $47 million off the books, plus all these guys that you sign for 1 year deals. You definitely have LeBron and AD on your books for next season. You can go and play this season out. Hopefully, make a a playoff seed. Of course, you're not going to win the playoffs with Russell Westbrook on this team, and then you get off his salary, and then you could potentially sign another max player in next offseason.
Yeah, I mean, just
Which
it's gonna
I'm
be
gonna
suffering.
assume though. I'm gonna assume though. The funny part is, it's probably gonna be Kyrie Irving. It's probably gonna be
I
him.
wouldn't be surprised. I would not be. I mean, it's kind of leaning towards that way,
Yeah.
which isn't a bad pickup.
No, I think Kyrie would definitely mesh well with AD and LeBron more than Russ ever did because he could shoot the ball.
He could shoot. Yeah,
He
he
can shoot.
doesn't take terrible fucking jump shots.
He doesn't take terrible mid-range force shots and awful in the corner shots. I heard Darvin Ham says that they're gonna be working with Russ on his corner 3. Jesus.
I hope so.
How did this happen? We won a championship 2 years ago, Chris.
It's the bubble chip, man. A lot of people dispute that.
I don't give a fuck. If you dispute the bubble championship, fuck you. I don't give a fuck. It says NBA championship on it. It's an NBA championship. 17 of those motherfuckers the Los Angeles Lakers have. So
Knicks,
I'll be
Knicks weren't even
damned.
invited. That shit has not existed to me. The bubble chip never happened.
He's like never happened. We weren't invited,
Nope, that's
so
it. Season
I don't
cancels
care.
midway, and that's it. We went on to the next season.
It's like
I wash my hands.
washing my hands of this entire situation. But yeah, I think the Lakers not looking good right now. It looks like we're gonna have to sit on Russ for the season. But spoiler alert for our NBA season preview. Lakers are making the playoffs. Lakers are making the playoffs. Anthony Davis going to be a top 5 MVP candidate. LeBron James going to be number 1 all-time scoring. It's going to be a historic season for the Los Angeles Lakers. An historic season. You hear me?
Historically good or historically bad?
It's going to be historically good.
All
Come
right.
on, man. You got to
All right.
believe. You got to believe.
I'm having a hard time believing in my own goddamn team. I'm not gonna believe in yours.
Believe in mine because you can't believe in yours. Hear the words that are coming out of my mouth. We got a couple of people in the chat here. We got Will Chisholm who says, as a LeBron fan, this year scares me. I'm not a LeBron fan. I'm a Laker fan, and this year scares me. We got Pluggo. Thanks for joining us, good brother. Saying if anyone else won in the bubble, they'd get a ton of praise. LeBron James does it, and all the haters lash on. Thank you.
He's right.
Like this was my whole thing, Chris. This is my
Right.
whole thing because I know you were joking, but there are legit
Yeah,
people
yeah.
that shit on the bubble and say the bubble championship don't count. But if we had lost. If we had lost to the Miami Heat
Jimmy
in the
Butler would be the
NBA,
greatest player in the league. He'd be the best player in the
thank
league.
you,
He'd be
thank
the
you,
best player in the league.
thank you, thank you. If we had lost to the Miami Heat, that title would count more than any other title in NBA history. But because the Lakers won, it's not even the LeBron hate. It's more of the Laker hate because I've been dealing with this shit for 25 years. So the
There's
Lakers,
both at this point.
I really think even if the Lakers did not have LeBron James, if we had won a championship with the young core that we had been drafting, I think we still would get hate. Oh man, those young boys ain't ready for the real NBA playoffs. They won the bubble championship. It's the combination, I think, that has made it to people don't even, say
Want to
that the bubble
acknowledge it.
champion, want to acknowledge the bubble championship. It's the LeBron hate meets the Laker hate, which is an unstoppable amount of hate. Oh, we also got Fluggo who says exactly Butler would have gotten his finally against all the pandemic adversity. Yeah, yo, they be still celebrating Jimmy Butler. They be celebrating Jimmy Butler like they celebrate the Cleveland Cavs coming back from 3-1.
I mean, what adversity? He was banging Rachel Nichols in the bubble, and then going to the games and dropping 40. What? And then getting free meals and shit every day, like it was a resort. Like, come on, bro, ain't no adversity there.
All that adversity
He
of
was having
banging
the time of
Rachel
his life.
Nichols.
He was having the time of his life, yo.
He's like, I got all this adversity. I got bang Rachel Nichols.
Yeah,
God damn it.
damn
God damn it.
it.
God damn it. We do have other news to discuss on this show besides all the trades and moves in the NBA. There's more CBA news going on, Chris, as they are thinking about changing the age restriction. It's from 19 to 18. Thus, we could be going back to the era of players coming straight from high school into the pros. What do you think about that?
I like it. I mean, I feel like these kids, most of them anyway, we have way too many one and dones, right? Every season. Like, some of these kids are engaged on the college level, actually want to win a championship, and then comes to the NBA. A lot of these kids just want to go do their 1 year and then just go straight to the league. So it's like now there's the option of the G League where kids are just skipping college and period and just becoming basically semi pros until they could get drafted into the pros, which is, I mean, cool too, but it just further explains the point. Like a lot of these kids don't want to do the 1 year in college. If
Didn't
they want
Jalen
to,
Green do that?
yeah,
Didn't
Jalen
Jalen
Green did it.
Green?
I believe Kaminga might have did it too. Somebody who got drafted, a couple guys that got drafted this year might have did it as well. Like it's a trend that's gonna keep happening. And if this is gonna be a trend, then you might as well just lower the age, get these kids into the league at a young age, pay them, get them a little guidance, see what happens. Let them sink or swim on their own. These kids, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't matter whether you're 18 or 19 or 17 going into the league. You're still a baby. You're still going to have these growing pains. You still have to mature. So let these kids either mature or, fuck their lives up. It is what it is. Because that's what it really comes down to. And it comes down to money as well. So it actually makes sense from a money standpoint for the NBA because now you're getting these kids going into their contracts a little younger. You get to pay them a little bit more money. You get a little bit more longevity out of them, especially the superstars. So I don't know. I feel like it's a win.
Only reason I would have any trepidation is because I do think that the rule helped college basketball at the point of when they made the rule change. College basketball was becoming very non-existent, and it was nothing of interest was happening in college basketball. And when they made that rule change that all the players had to do at least 1 year, college basketball became much more interesting, especially during March Madness and the NCAA tournament, because you're trying to look at players very more closely during those times to see who your next NBA superstar might be. And I will never forget what was it, the 2008 March Madness and NCAA tournament when Steph Curry went to prominence with Davidson. That was the first kind of inkling that we got that Steph Curry could be a superstar player, and it happened in college basketball. And I don't think we would have as many moments if these players who were young 18-year-olds who were basically ready for the NBA, a lot of these guys that had to do the 1 year were already NBA ready, especially someone like a Zion Williamson. Despite his injuries, he's one of those guys too. But I don't think we would have as much interest in NCAA and college basketball without this rule. So that's the only trepidation that I have. But I totally agree. It should be up to them, and it should be their choice. If they think they're ready, then they should go ahead with it.
Yeah, I have nothing against college basketball anymore because at least they, adopted the NIL model and they're just, if you get make some money off your likeness, hey, like here you go, it's fine now. So it's a little easier. Back in the day, I would have said like, fuck that, don't go to college and pay for these corporations. They don't care about you. Now it's a little different, but I mean, it's ultimately the kid's choice, right? If they want to go to college or try their luck going straight to the league, doesn't always work out, but we see plenty of guys come straight from high school and become mega stars, Hall of Famers. So I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how this new wave of young talent going straight into the league from high school, how they've developed and how they ultimately adapt to the league. I want to see the trend in 5 to 10 years where they're better off kids going doing one and duns because it was maturing them a little bit, helping their game out a little bit before they came into the NBA, or just is the talent so raw that coming straight out of high school and going into the league, these kids are going to be amazing. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, I think it's going to be like a testing period, trial period, if you will, as far as to see what works, see what's going to be, the best for the league overall moving forward. We got Pluggo who says, with the overtimes of the world and whatnot, the NCAA model is becoming less important. So remove the 19 age model and let them get paid. I hear you on that. We got ALW who says you should be able to go get a job anywhere. An age restriction is not fair. They adults in the eyes of the world, which is very true. Which is very true. They are adults in the eyes of the
Yeah,
world.
no age restriction. You know what? My 3 week old, I'm telling her to get a job right now. Damn it,
Tell
got to
her,
contribute
tell
to
her,
the
go,
household.
go get a job. Go get a job. Get yourself some baby food. All right, honey. ILW saying, I know they won't pay as much, but with NIL now, it does make college more enticing. I'm waiting to see if this whole NIL thing really works, and really these college students that these corporations and schools are making so much money on, if they are really getting benefited by it, if they're making money, which makes their their living situation a little bit better. That's what I'm waiting for. I'm not counting the eggs before they hatch, basically.
No, it makes sense. That's another thing that's still in progress. Like we won't really see the effect until another 2 or 3 years because we have big names in college and shit now that have signed these agreements, but we don't know in a couple years how they're gonna, actually disclose that information. So we'll see.
We also got Pluggo who says, if a team is willing to draft you and pay you, why not let them get drafted?
True.
Very true. And we got Pluggo who says, why waste the Thompson twins' time in college when they are top 10 picks? They have all to lose based off injuries. That's the best point of it is that if a player is ready at 18 years old and doesn't need to go to college to improve their place in the draft, then all they're doing is risking it basically by playing
True.
a year in college.
That is true. And then, you're always risking losing that top 10 value or losing value in general. And there's guys that have completely fell off the board because they got injured. So
Indeed. Indeed. ALW says, got them kids paying some rent, 3 years old, 50 month to live in this house. He's a smart man. Smart man. There is, and he also says there is also the G League. Indeed, there is. But I think that is all for the major NBA news for us to discuss on this edition. Chris, make this a quick and easy one for us, talking about Donovan Mitchell to the Cavs, the Lakers. The fucking Lakers. Maybe we'll be back before our NBA season preview, but anything you want to add before we give our outros as far as what's going on in the NBA right now?
besides Let's Go Knicks, nah, not really, man. Just getting ready for training camp, preseason, trying to see what teams are gonna make the leap, which teams are gonna be terrible again. It's gonna be fun.
Indeed, indeed. This is my favorite time of the year. NBA 2K23 drop. Did you get that yet?
I did not. I will though eventually. I will.
I need to. I took off last season. I didn't get 2K22. I'm definitely getting 2K23 for the Jordan Challenge and for the My Eras. I'm a big My NBA franchise type of player. That's the mode that I usually spend the most time in, and that My Era shit sounds amazing.
It does. It sounds like a good, but knowing 2K, they're gonna make it a little complicated, and I don't have the brain capacity for that sometimes. So I'm gonna stick to my career and try to win a championship with the Knicks. I heard they need a small forward, so we'll see what happens.
Go back to 1983 and just try to draft Jordan the year before you draft Patrick Ewing.
That
That's
would
see?
that would be one hell of a combo.
Smart. That's what you got to think long term booking, long term storytelling. Thank you all for joining us for this edition of True Hill Heat Sports. We'll be back here on the True Hill Heat Sports YouTube channel on Thursday for our NFL Thursday Night Football watch along. Going to be watching the game along with Stat King Romeo, Top Guy JJ will be along for the ride. Then of course Sunday starts again, a new week as we got Monday Night Football watch alongs. For now, we will have Rated Raw Superstars over on Twitch on Monday nights. So right here is our presence on the YouTube channel on Monday nights. Chris G, please let the people know where they can find you on social media and what you got going on this channel or the other channel.
Well, you can find me at True Hill, Chris G on Twitter and Instagram, and you could always catch me here in the True Hill Heat Sports channel talking basketball, baseball watch-alongs, football watch-alongs. Got some big boxing fights signed. Hopefully they'll be coming up soon. Jake Paul, Anderson Silva. We'll have a nice watch-along for that. Maybe I'll join that one. Couple good things on UFC lined up, I'm sure, in the next few months. So you can catch me on those watch-alongs most likely too, depending on when they are. And of course, True Heel Heat Wrestling. You can catch me tonight, NX3, while we cover NXT Black and Gold. I don't know. I can't wait to fucking find out. You could definitely catch me there today. And then Thursdays, of course, Twitch Blunt Impact for the time being. When we're doing the Thursday night football watch-alongs, I'll be over on Twitch with my good brother, the three-time baby making champion Ness, aka Skinny Kravitz, as we smoke a few blunts and watch some Impact Wrestling. So come join us or join the football watch-alongs. Either way, we love your support.
Absolutely. Some great things going on both channels, Twitch channel as well. You can follow me on the Twitter machine at True Hill SP3. Follow the gang Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at True Hill Heat. You could also follow us patreon.com/True Hill Heat. $3 a month for more exclusive content, the True Hill Heat Prediction Championship, and more. ProWrestlingTees.com/True Hills for your True Hill Heat merchandise. Like I said before, and like Chris said before, Twitch.tv/True Hill Heat Wrestling. Trying to hit 100 followers over there. We got our Monday Rated Raw Superstars watch along over there now, as well as Blunt Impact on Thursdays. So join us here on Thursday nights for football if you're watching that, or on twitch.tv/True Hill Heat Wrestling if you're watching some Impact Wrestling. So for Chris G, it is me, your True Hill Phenom, SP3. This has been True Hill Heat Sports, number 36, Mitchell to the Cavs. We are signing off until next time.